It's the greatest sport in the world where we talk walk-ons, walk-offs, first downs, and touchdowns, and much, much more. Welcome to Cone's Cadence. Welcome to football. I'm here with my guy, Nasjzaé Bryant-Lelei, former running back for the University of Hawaii football. Played some Division II as well. Just declared for the 2025 NFL Draft. Nas, appreciate you joining the program.
Thanks for having me, brother. It's great to be here.
Yes, sir, of course. So you played football. Let's really jump straight into it. You played football at Catawba College in North Carolina, Division II, then jumped up to the University of Hawaii, Division I, and then went back to Division II at Black Hills State in South Dakota. So you've had a lot of experience at different levels. What would you say is the biggest difference between playing Division I and Division II football?
It's really in the trenches, honestly. You got guys that's like 6'8", 6'9", over 350. But at the same time, you find those gyms in D2 that's, like that. And they might just be 5'11", 6 foot,
Yeah.
But when it comes to skill positions too, it's really like I, I wouldn't say it's a big difference in the skill positions. The main thing is the technique, and you'll find those 6'6", 6'5", like 230 studs for D1.
Receivers, yeah. So yeah, a lot of those guys can play, and it's crazy because some of those Division III guys that are skill position guys, or Division II, NAIA, whatever it is, they can really move up and play Division I ball because a lot of them get overlooked. Maybe they only get filmed their senior year of high school, didn't get it like their junior, sophomore, freshman year, and they get some film Division III, and they jump up to a Division I school because playing at Division I.
Right.
It's a little bit harder to go to a Division I as a walk-on and like really try to prove yourself versus starting at a Division II like you did, or Division III, getting great film, being the bigger fish in a small pond, and then jumping up to Division I. It might be a little bit easier because you actually have game film, and college coaches value that so much that you have college game film before you jump up to an FBS school or something along those lines, and then getting deeper into your experience. So obviously you were at those three schools. What was the off-the-field experience like, and which one would you think felt the most like home environment-wise?
Catawba, I came in with one of my good friends from high school. We was roommates.
Yeah.
So, that transition was real good. And then I would say Hawaii felt most like home just because, like, those boys, they welcome me open arms. Like, never really had an issue there, like the guys know I had their back and they had mine type thing,
Yeah, I know you had talked about that. We talked about that off camera a little bit. There was about 8 guys that really had your back when you were going through a tough time. We'll get into that a little bit later. But for now, on January 11th, 2023, you posted a recording of an emotional phone call with your dad on X, formerly known as Twitter. And you were just informing him that you were put on scholarship at the University of Hawaii. And what was that moment like with him, but also being told by the coaches at that time? What were those 2 moments?
To be honest, it was kind of a surreal moment because, my pops been my coach since I was, since I first started playing.
Yeah.
All the way to my senior year. So, like, for us to have that moment was real special because, like, he's been there, like, since literally day one.
Yeah.
Let me playing ball.
Especially since Pop Warner, when you're playing Pop Warner ball or whatever it is, junior, midget, there's all those different levels of Pop Warner football. But when you're doing that and you get into high school ball and then you don't go straight to Division I on scholarship, you go to Division II like you did, and then you go to Division I, and then you earn the scholarship as a PWO, and then you get on it. It's just much more of a satisfying feeling because you fought through all that adversity, and having that experience with your dad, it's got to be a great feeling.
So, like, to keep a long story short, 2018, played as a true freshman at down at Catawba. 2019, tore my right MCL on my first carry, second game. And then 2020 we hit COVID. So, like, we ain't had no season. So,
yeah.
I talked to my papa, like, look, I got to take a chance on myself because I know I'm much better than this.
Yeah.
So, I found Coach Bo Graham. He was an old OC at UH. Found his Instagram and just, I sent him a DM. And he was like, look, we can't promise you nothing right now, but, you come here in the summer, you work, earn you a spot on the roster. And that's what I went with. So, 2021, walked on there. I had 1 carry that season against New Mexico. That was a rough walk-on season, honestly. But 2022, played a lot. Probably my best season at Hawaii.
Yeah.
But that's when the struggle came in. my landlord at the place I was staying at, she gave me the wrong lease
Yeah.
that we signed. So we talked about it. She was like, "Hey, look, I know I messed your stuff up with getting like with like staying on campus and stuff. So you just stay here. You don't got to pay so much rent. Just stay here and just move out when the lease is up." Well, okay, cool. She ends up leaving that uh, December, and she doesn't tell the new landlord our agreement.
Yeah.
So the new landlord thinks I'm just not paying rent. So yeah, so like once we finally talked about it, she was like, "Hey, look, I wish I could help you. I would, but now the higher ups then got into it,
Yeah.
and they're just like, look, you just got to go." I'm like, "Okay, fine." So that whole 2022 season, most of it I was staying in one of my friends' cars,
Jeez.
and then on, on the back end, I was in the locker room because I had finally told my coaches about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but th- there was a couple guys, like I would say like around 8, 10 guys who really like helped me, get through that rough patch. Like guys like Jonah Pinoque, Verdell Edwards, Iliki Tanuvasa, Kawhi Nishigaya,
Yeah.
Nalu Emerson, just name a few.
Yeah.
Those guys really helped me through that rough patch in my life for sure.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then going off those experiences, you played teams like Michigan in the Big House in
Yeah.
2022, and then you went on to play Oregon in 2023 on the road as well. What were those experiences like playing from Catawba, a Division II, playing against the small crowd? I would assume not too many people in the
Yeah, not
crowd,
at all.
and then going and playing the Big House, and then
Yeah.
at Oregon in 2023.
I mean, like we were Michigan's first ever night game, and we was talking a little trash on X. So yeah, they really put it on us that day. Like
Yeah,
they gave us the business. We thought we was gonna come in there hot. Nah, they shut that down real quick. Yeah, and then playing against Oregon, it wasn't really as loud. Like I, I've been to South Carolina, it's much louder than Oregon. No
hey,
offense to Oregon fans, but
hey, no offense to the Big Ten either. I know
it's the
NIL is kind
truth.
of changing
Yeah,
college football and everything, but hey, he's still saying the SEC's got
yeah.
it going on. I know Michigan and Ohio State may be different, but
But, but
and Penn State too. Shout out to them.
but even further and more, like there's difference in the FBS too. Like you can tell the difference between Group of Five and Power Five teams.
Competition wise, or just the stadium? I mean, obviously the
Nah,
crowd,
in the
but
trenches
in the
for
trenches,
sure,
yeah,
man. Like their whole D line towered our O line, and to me, like we had a pretty good O line.
yeah,
Like we had a solid O line, but man, like I'm talking about probably 6'6", 6'7" across the board.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
Jeez.
crazy.
And then obviously you're known for being a downhill physical running back, but
Yeah.
pass protection is often an underrated aspect of being a running back. And that's something that you had a great role in and being a great pass protector. And you, like I said, excelled in that role. How do you approach those high pressure moments when you have a blitzing defender running right at you one-on-one and you have to pick him up or else the quarterback's going to get killed?
You know, I've always took pride in being like, I don't want to be the reason my quarterback gets sacked.
Yeah.
So like when I make a big play, it's not just a run.
Yeah.
If we throw a 80-yard bomb and I, stop the linebacker from getting to the quarterback,
That's a
that's a
big
big play for
play.
me too. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
exactly.
So like it was like me, it's always been a pride thing for me. Like I'm not about to let you get to my quarterback. You know what I'm saying? If you get past my O line, like my O line know I'm there like as a last resort, regardless anything type thing.
I feel like people forget how much preparation goes into playing a football game too. It's like, it's not just, hey, you get out there on Saturdays or Sundays, whatever it is, Friday night lights in high school, even in high school, but especially in college, there's scout team and there's scout meetings and there's meetings. It's 24/7. It's a job. That's why I'm glad these guys are getting paid with NIL.
Right.
Obviously there should be a limit to NIL a little bit, but shouldn't be able to transfer in the middle of the season, but that's besides the point. In terms of the preparation that goes into a game, I mean, some of these coaches are sleeping in the facility. Like, I know you were sleeping in the locker room for a little bit, but some of these coaches going through not necessarily similar situations, but also knowing how it feels to have to stay at work and sleep there and make sure that they have all the scout cards written up and the little things like that, because 3rd and 2, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8, they're all different situations. The defense could play a different coverage on every single one of those downs. So we have to prepare for all those. Like I said, 3rd and short, 3rd and medium, 3rd and long. And all that is tough to do. And then in terms of being a quarterback and obviously you being a running back, they both have to be on the same page as well. People don't realize that it's not just quarterbacks and receivers. Like the quarterback, the running back, and the offensive line have to be on the same page in terms of pass protection, because if they're not, and you don't know where the free rusher is coming from, and the quarterback doesn't know who he's hot off of, that guy comes hot, and he's expecting somebody to pick him up, and then he ends up getting killed anyway.
Yeah.
So I have an example. When I was playing college ball, like we would go 63, 4-down Rita. So 63 is telling the offensive line which way to slide. So it'd be 63, and then they have the 4-down lineman to Rita. Rita means the right inside linebacker. So instead of saying, hey, 59's the mic, 59's the mic, we just say Rita. So the defense doesn't know like who we're identifying as the mic, which, like I said, Rita's the right inside linebacker. So the offensive line has those 4-down guys to the right inside linebacker, which makes the running back have that left inside backer, hence 63 protection, 6 guys in protection, the 5-down offensive lineman plus the running back. And then if that left inside backer comes, which we like to call Lisa, if that left inside backer comes, then the running back has to take him. And then if somebody additionally comes, then the quarterback knows that he's hot. I know that's a lot of information right there, but that's really just a breakdown of a similar situation of just one play, one call of a 6-man protection that guys really have to know. And if not, the quarterback will get killed or something will go wrong, strip sack, fumble, whatever it is.
Right.
But for people that haven't played the game, what's it like making a huge play for your team like you did late in the first quarter against Utah State in 2022 when you broke off a 43-yard run on 4th down and 2, and like because there's not really an adrenaline like that?
It was actually like a pretty good feeling, like just cause like me and Tyler and Hines was fighting for that second string spot.
Yeah.
You know, and Tyler, shout out to him, bro. He's one of the like fastest, shiftiest, most explosive backs I ever played with in my life.
Yeah.
Like, bro, he's a dog. So like that play happened like later in the season during the time where I was trying to show coaches like, look, like bro, I could ball type thing, you know? I've been blocking all game. Let me show y'all that like I can do it all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's 4th and 2. I think we was down like 10 points. You know, and like for me to get that, plus I scored 2 play later on that same drive.
Yeah.
So like for me it felt like to me it was like showing the coaches, look, you know what I'm saying, like I could help carry this team.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't gotta rely on one back, you know?
Yeah.
And that was my whole thing.
Yeah, you could really be the 1-2 punch there. And like you said, you had showed that, but I want to get even further. So what's that like for the people that haven't played football when you make a big play like that? What's going through your mind as soon as you get up? You're like saying, let's go, and you're giving the first down signal. What's that like in that moment?
Like for me, all that energy, it really came from the preparation.
Yeah.
Like, okay, is this D lineman in a 3-tech or is he in a 1-eye?
Yeah.
Are those backers shifted? Is the safety tilt, to the boundary or to the field? All that stuff, it's going to let you know, okay, boom, here's where the blitz is coming from.
Yeah.
Or if it's a run play, okay, we were in a read option. There's a deuce block front side. We got a single block backside. I got to make sure I'm patient enough to get them time to get to their block. But at the same time, I know that might be a real good DN, and he might be able to crash even though he's set for the QB.
Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of a thing where like you have to prepare yourself for each situation, no matter what it is. So for me, like I used to go play by play in the run fits and the pass blocking, and I would go through the O-line calls myself to see, okay, boom, this is how it, like, in the event this happens, this is how it could play out.
Yeah.
Type thing, So,
and
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I've heard Tom Brady talk about that. Like he would go through every single scenario on every single play to make sure that he's prepared, especially when he was playing guys like Ed Reed and things like that, because Ed Reed can make a play from one hash all the way to the other sideline and just make huge plays like that. And I love how we're getting really in depth with defensive schemes and coverages and stuff like that, because that's when we get into coaching and it really becomes a chess match with the coaches because like we had talked about off camera as well, just sometimes the defense can overload one side and they think, oh, we got him here. Like, we're going to be able to get to the quarterback. And then the offensive line slides the other way, and the running back ends up picking up that extra defender that's coming off that side. So that's when it becomes a chess match with the coaches and watching film and all those things.
So there was one time when we were playing Michigan, and it was like 3rd and 6. They came heavy to the left side.
Yep.
So me, like, knowing what could happen, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, please do not do a full slide, because then I got to get the end. He like 6'6", 6'7", 330.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, let's do it. Because in my mind, you know, like, I'll tell any coach, like I don't care who it is, like, no tackle, DN, corner, linebacker.
You'll block them.
I'll block anybody in the world. So they called a full slide to the left because I was already on the right.
Yeah.
And they had, I think, 2 extra guys that I couldn't account for.
Yeah.
So in this particular play, I had to get in. So I come down, I sold the block, and I chopped him last second, and he flipped.
Yeah.
And then we got the first down. So for me, it's like, bro, like, that helped us make a play. You know what I'm saying? To me, that is a big play. And that all came from the preparation I did, watching film, going through all the scenarios, because I knew you know what kind of player he was and how good he was. So like I had to. It really like came down to, you know, if I don't make this block, a little bit of my quarterback's trust is going to diminish.
Yep.
A little bit of my O-line trust is going to diminish. So I was like, I can't have that.
And then as a quarterback too, when you're getting hit and things like that, I hate seeing quarterbacks yell at their offensive line. You just got to get up and you just got to take it on the chin. And when guys see that, they really respect you too. And offensive linemen don't want to.
I mean, it was a couple of times I yelled at the O-line. Like, just
I'm saying this from a quarterback's perspective, because quarterback, you're leading the huddle. They got to see you react. Like they see you pop, the offensive line, the running back see you pop back up from a huge hit. Like you have respect for the quarterback for doing that. As a running back, it's a little bit different, but I'm talking about from a quarterback's perspective there. But in terms of situations like that, and I want to go back to your preparation, because say the offensive line full slides and you picked up that defensive end, but say an extra guy came off the edge and you ended up picking up the extra guy off the edge instead of picking up that defensive end. That is a little thing, but it's huge as well, because if he picks up that outside guy and not the defensive end, that defensive end is the most dangerous man, and he's got a free rush to the quarterback, and he's going to get there faster than the outside guy is. So the fact that you picked up him, and if the guy came outside, the quarterback might have an extra second to get the ball out.
Yeah.
And so just little things like that somebody just sitting in the stands would say, oh, I don't really know what he's talking about. Like those little things, especially to players and coaches, like that is a huge thing. You have to know who to pick up in situations where there's pressure and things like that.
And a lot of my coaches low-key get mad at me sometimes, like when I was celebrating, making a little block. But I'm like, for me, the celebrations came from, okay, you know, I put in the work to do this. Like they used to think it was like me being cocky. I was like, nah, coach, like, that's not me being cocky. Like, that's me, you know, being excited for myself, because I know the work I put in to make that play.
Exactly.
You know?
And even with coaches like Bill Belichick, the greatest NFL coach of all time, and then Andy Reid, obviously he's winning a lot right now, but Bill Belichick, the greatest NFL coach of all time, coached with the Giants, obviously, before going to the Patriots and leading that dynasty. But Bill Belichick even said, guys, it takes so much work to make one big play. Like if somebody makes a big play, don't just let him celebrate by himself. Like go over there and celebrate with him. It takes so much effort, especially in the NFL. I mean, it's literally a job. And then in college, it's also a job. But the NFL, it's like extremely tedious. You do one thing wrong, you're cut, you're out. You don't have a job, you're unemployed. So little things like that. And then really moving on. So with you declaring for the 2025 NFL draft, what do you want scouts to notice about your game that sets you apart from other running backs? And obviously we just talked about pass protection, but if you had to list one other thing, what would that be that sets you apart from other running backs in this class?
I would say my ability to fall forward every time, and
that's huge too.
My ability to dissect the defense. You know, like I feel like I put in the work to be able to read the coverages. You know, if my quarterback, you know, he doesn't, because the quarterback, he has so much stuff he has to go through pre-snap.
Yep.
And sometimes he may forget to go through one thing. Like, for me to be able to help him, like, even if it's like the smallest thing in the world, for me to be able to help him or the O-line with, like, something they got to know, like, it's like, I feel like that is needed in the league.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Especially, I've been trying to tell some receivers and quarterbacks that I've been coaching up a little bit, too. obviously quarterbacks, but receivers and even running backs. If you can learn it from a quarterback's perspective, where you know where everyone's at and all the formations and things like that, and you know where everyone has to go on certain plays, and you, like I said, you learn it from a quarterback's perspective, then if coach is like, hey, somebody go in at H, like H position, usually slot receiver or F, depending on the offense. Somebody
get slot too. I can play slot
you
too.
can play slot too. Hey, coaches, watch out for that. But hey, if coach is like, hey, we need somebody in an H, we need somebody in an F, and you're typically an X receiver, you can just run in and say, I know it, coach, I'm good. You can just run in, and coaches are impressed with little things like that. Because if you can play any position and you're a versatile guy, I mean, coaches really, really value that. Like I said, learn it from a quarterback's perspective. If you had every team doing that, I mean, that would change a lot of things.
Facts.
And then moving on. So if you could fast forward to the NFL draft, what's the dream scenario? Is there a specific team that you have your eye on that you really want to go to?
Dream scenario for sure is the Eagles. You know, that's my childhood team since I was growing up.
Go Giants.
My dad's from Philly, so you know, that's all I was raised with was, you know, Eagles.
Yeah.
So that would be the dream scenario. But you know, I have gotten used to the West Coast living. So you know, Niners, Raiders,
Pete Carroll,
Chargers. Y'all need a back. Y'all know where to look at. You know what I'm saying? So,
and you know the Harbaughs love to run the ball.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Whether it's LA or in Baltimore, they love to tote the rock. So
for sure.
In terms of which team, like all those teams would be great, but obviously you'd love to just go be in the NFL, whatever team it is, all 32. Like it doesn't matter. And what's the pro day training process like? Obviously, guys have different trainers and things like that right now, but what's your particular process like?
So for me, like I got to show the scouts I can run.
Yeah.
You know, in that clip where I broke 43 yards, you know, I did get hawked. So I lost the weight. Back then I was 240. Right now I'm at 205.
Yep.
So I got to show them like, okay, look, like y'all know I can block. Y'all seen the film. Y'all know I can run. I can also break away from people too.
Yeah.
Type thing. So that's really, you know, what my preparation has been focused on. So yeah.
Hey, you could end up being maybe a 1-2 punch there with Saquon Barkley. Obviously,
for sure.
In terms of the Eagles, people talk about, oh, well, they don't really have that good of a passing game. I don't know if they're going to be able to beat Kansas City, but if Saquon's running the ball for 4 or 5 yards a carry, it won't matter. They'll be able to score points and they'll be able to win that game. And as a Giants fan, that hurts to say. I'm rooting for Mahomes to win a three-peat just because I hate the Eagles so much. But I mean, that would be an awesome opportunity, especially if you get to learn from guys like him, and then even Will Shipley being on the roster, underrated guy from Clemson, big in the return game sometimes. So that would be huge as well. And then what advice would you give to young athletes that are aspiring to be in your position one day, training for the NFL draft and having a pro day coming up soon?
If you're going to go all the way, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of kids who want it, but they not willing to sacrifice everything for it. Like, for me, like, I sacrifice going out, hanging with friends, you know, going to parties, drinking, smoking, sacrifice all that stuff because it was like, I know what I want to do.
Yeah.
And this is what I want to do. Yeah, I want to take it as far as I can. You know, was my journey of college the best? Not by any means. But I know that, like, bro, like, if a team give me a chance, whichever league it's in, I'm going to put on the show for sure.
Yeah. And that's another reason why I'm doing this podcast. Cohen's Cadence started it up too, because I want to be able to inspire young guys and have them not have to go through some of the adversities that we had gone through with coaches or just even in Pop Warner, some of those little things. I want them to be able to learn it faster in high school, in Pop Warner. So maybe something that I learned my junior year of college or sophomore year, senior year of college, they learn their sophomore year of high school or their 8th grade year before they even get into high school. So little things like that, anything that I can do to help those young kids, I mean, I think that's awesome.
Another thing too is like, you got to be coachable. You know, don't take everything a coach says to heart.
Exactly.
That's something I had a hard time with, you know, like how not to take what they say to heart. You know, my 2021 year, we was in practice. We running inside run drill.
Oh yeah,
that's my drill. Like
9-on-7.
That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm like in that drill. I normally score. I talk my shit.
Yeah.
Right. On this specific day, I guess coach having a bad day. He told me I was talking shit to the defense. He was like, he told my coach like out loud. He was like, "Why is he always talking? He ain't done shit yet." And I was like, "Well, you ain't give me a fucking chance." I regret saying that a little bit, but
Yeah.
not really. So yeah, so like it was like that moment. He was when he said that, like it flipped the switch. I was like, all right, bro, like you not finna play with me like that.
Yeah.
But I had to realize, like, it's a fine line between confidence and cockiness.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I had to realize, okay, I was being a little cocky type
Yeah.
thing. So you got to be coachable. You know what I'm saying? Don't take everything to heart. You know what I'm saying? And be humble. And just let God lead the way.
Yeah, and definitely that last thing, and another big thing too. It's just don't be that guy that's saying, "Oh, coach disrespected me, man," to your teammates and all this stuff, this, and that. It's because if a coach is getting on you, for in most circumstances, I'm not going to say all. If a coach is getting on you,
Yeah.
it's because they care about you and they
Yeah.
want to see more out of you. Maybe not that in that situation that you're talking about
Right.
in that circumstance because he was having a bad day, and coaches have a bad day. They're people too. But as a
Right.
player, you just can't snap back like that because then a coach is going to look at you in a particular way and say, "Oh, he can't take constructive criticism," and it might change their overall perspective on you. So,
Right.
in terms of coaches getting on players, like in a way, I kind of compare it to parents. Like sometimes, whether or not you think your parents are right or wrong, they're your parents. You do what they say. I
Right.
mean, it's just a respect thing. It's the same thing with coaches. Like, even if you think what they're saying is wrong, yeah, there's the transfer portal and all that stuff now, but sometimes it's better to ride it out and maybe you'll get your chance. So little things like that.
I wanted to ride it out, but I couldn't. So 2023, that was my big year. I was 235, 240. I was clocking 21 miles per hour. So, I got put on scholarship. I had a great spring camp. Summer went good. We did good at OTA, stuff like that. Coming to fall camp, I'm rolling. Like I would say I scored 9 out of. I would say I'm not really good at math. I would say I scored about four out of 9 plays I would score.
Yeah.
So and I ended up tearing my left MCL on the last play of practice in the third period. One of our running backs took it to the crib. David Cordero. Shout out to him. He took it to the crib. So coach said, "Hey, get in there, finish it off." I'm like, "All right, bet." Get in there, hit the hole. One of my good friends, Isaiah Tufanga, he came in, filled the gap, stopped me in my tracks. One of our D linemen was in pursuit and he tripped and he fell to my knee. As soon as I heard that pop, I already knew what it was.
You knew what it was, yeah.
And like it was kind of crazy too, cause like so they had, they told me it was better to part ways, and I think it was week 10.
Yeah.
When we played Air Force. They were the best team in the conference. Oh, them boys put a spanking on them. we put a spanking on Air Force. So that was actually my first game back where I didn't need a knee brace.
Yeah.
Like I think I was around like 80-85% at that time. So that whole week I'll take all the first string reps.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of guys down. So that week I'm taking all the first string reps, not winning the brace, I'm ready to go. So, coach is telling me, all right, look, this the game to show, like this the game to, prepare you for next year, to get your name, solidified as a guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, like I'm about to go crazy. I don't see the field to the fourth quarter. 2 minutes left. I was, man, hot. I was so hot. But, the icing on the cake that made them say, okay, he got to go. Like now, like back then, I thought it was an injury. But now, like, I thought it was an injury and they just didn't like me for real.
Yeah.
But now, I had to realize, okay, it may have been an injury. But at the same time, me, I always, love to like support my brothers when they're doing good. That day, I was so, caught up in my feelings.
After you went down.
Yeah. David Cordero, he had a hell of a game that game. I was so caught up in my feelings, I couldn't, be happy for him how I wanted to.
Yeah.
And my coaches noticed that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was really the reason why they were like, okay, look, it's better if we part ways.
Yeah.
But I had to realize, that's not on them. That's on me.
Yeah.
Y'all got to know, young guys, like, you control your attitude. You know what I'm saying? You control, like coach would tell me, control what you can control. You know what I'm saying? You can control your attitude. You can control how much you study, stuff like that. Like, it's all the small stuff that's like bro. Like, it's like things gonna build up. You know what I'm saying? And you just you have to be accountable of what you can account for,
and ready for your opportunity too. That's another one of those big things, especially if you're a 2 or a 3 or 4 or 5 in college. Like, coaches say, yeah, the two things you can control, your attitude and your effort. Like, you got to control what you can control. And at the end of the day, even it goes both ways with coaches too, though. Like, coaches have to be straight up honest with you. If they're gonna lie to you and say, like, in that situation, hey, you're gonna have your chance to show what you can do for next year,
right,
and you don't get put into the fourth quarter, you're thinking going into the game you're gonna be starting, and then right before game time starts, they put somebody else in front of you. I mean, that makes players feel some type of way. And as a coach, you have to understand that. Coaches really do need to be honest with players, whether that's in recruiting or in games. And that's one of the big things that I want to preach to players, is that even if it's not what you want to hear, we're going to tell you how it is.
Right.
And that's one of the most important things that.
Yeah. Like, I don't hold no animosity towards them coaches. We still have a good relationship to this day. I still talk to most of those coaches, to this day. So, I love what they doing. Coach Chang, you ready for the 2025 season? They about to have a big year over there at UH.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, and that you guys can kind of just really get over that hump and still talk to them, and it shows your growth, that you're willing to go back and really mature and say, hey, I was wrong in that situation, and things didn't really work out in my favor, but now I'm going to do whatever I can to get an opportunity in the NFL or whatever league it is, even if you go undrafted, go into training camp. I know a guy, Evan Anderson, I played with at FAU. He's now playing with the San Francisco 49ers, made the 53-man roster, and he went undrafted to start, and now he was playing in a lot of the games this season, even had a quarterback sack and forced fumble. So it's just, like we said, what you can do with your opportunity, and I know when your opportunity comes, you're going to take advantage of it. And,
for sure.
And I appreciate you coming on the podcast and on Cone's Cadence, and we look forward to the next episode. But for now, we want to wish you best of luck in training for the NFL draft and with the Pro Day. Appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir, of course. If you've made it to this point in the video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Nothing gets me fired up like football. Let's go.